Hey, so welcome back. This is Atul from team K21Academy, and let's continue from where we left earlier in the part 1. So let's see how to create a AWS cluster using a GUI method. So first we are going to do is we are going to log into AWS Console and search for EKS. Now one thing you need to make sure that is you are in appropriate region in which you want to create that particular AWS account. Search for EKS. Now when you're going to create a EKS, first thing you have to do is you're going to create a master node or a control plane. That's the first step happens. So when you go here, let me actually go on the screen and show you what exactly is happening here. So rather than explaining it here. So first is I already created a account earlier I created a cluster in London, so I'll keep it in London. I deleted after that, so I wanted to show you how much price you pay. So this is where I'm selecting a London region, and if I search for EKS, any previous created cluster should be here. If you delete, it will be gone after some time. So if you say Elastic Kubernetes Service EKS, this is where I'm going to come here, and from here you see the drop down and you create a cluster or a register cluster. So creating a cluster is you're creating a cluster from scratch, as name suggests. Registering is you already have a Kubernetes cluster deployed somewhere else and you have to manage it using this AWS Kubernetes console. So then you register it. Or there are other labs, more advanced labs where we go EMR and other places. This is something which we'll be covering as we move forward in future labs on advanced Kubernetes, where how do you register that. Now, if you want to look at the pricing, it will tell you the pricing of, this was talking about how much will it cost you, because even though it's a free account, even if you're using free account, it will still be charged. So be careful, make sure you terminate the instance after this. And this is where you can go and look at the pricing calculator for that. I'll show you how much I spent. I think a couple of days back, I created and for 8-9 hours, I kept it running that. I was creating and managing this, viewing this. So I'll show you how much it cost me. So I'll go into billing. So if you look at the billing, there are two major billings. One was for EKS. This is my master node, and I did it for London, and it costed me around 28 cents for 8 or 9 hours of worth of I was working. And then I created two virtual machines, or two node cluster. In fact, I created overall, I think single node cluster, sorry, and that costed me around 1 cent. So it's quite cheap if you look at. Now, similarly, if you look at the pricing, it's basically you pay 10 cents per hour for each EKS cluster that you create, and then you have how many nodes you do. You probably charge that much amount of EC2 depending on the shape you select. So that's particularly from a billing point of view. So if I go back onto EKS, and I'm going and creating a EKS cluster here. So I'll select here EKS cluster, and then I'll say configure the cluster now here. So select here and say create a cluster. Now I'll be giving a name. Later in subsequent commands, I'm going to use this name. So remember this name, otherwise I'll show you how you can get that name back. So later when we are configuring the basically my client machine, that time I'll need this detail K21EKS01. You can put any name of your choice. That's totally fine. Make sure later we'll need this region as well in which we've created. So this is my region, actually EU-West-2 here. Now the Kubernetes version. So each EKS version will depend on the underlying Kubernetes version. At the time when I'm recording this, the latest default is 1.24. There are higher version of Kubernetes cluster available on, but what EKS supporting is that Kubernetes cluster 1.24. So you select one of your choice. Now you probably will be, it's basically expecting the cluster service role. Now, because I've already created that cluster role in past, that's why it's showing me EKS cluster role. But actually, if you look at the guide here, or let me go and stop or delete these cluster or these, all these roles, so that I create it from scratch. So I'm going to go and clean up all the roles that are available, which I created a part of. So you can go and from fresh here. So if you notice here, I selected these are the 4 roles two automatically created, 2 I created. I'm deleting them. This is because I created these 3-4 days back. You don't need to worry about that on the first time, but later I'm going to show you again how you can come to this screen and delete these roles, because I wanted to show you from scratch what happens. So while these roles are being deleted, let's go back to EKS and we'll go and start from scratch again what we did earlier. So go back to EKS. So this is the screen I was earlier. So let's see if these should be removed. If I refresh that should be gone here in a minute. So if you notice here, this is how it should be, like no roles found. So I need to go and create a role here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to or open a new tab or go back to console here, which is a new console or new tab. So I have to go to this roles, identity and access management. Inside that, I'll go to roles and create a role. And for role, I'm going to create a AWS service and then select the AWS services for EKS related here. So coming here, identity and access management, click on this link here or the service basically. Click on this role tab. This will list you all the roles that we have. These are all default roles that comes. Click on create roles. We will see trusted entity type as AWS service. Again, I'm not going to go into identity and access management in depth, but if you're part of our AWS solution architect program in that, or if you're watching this in a bonus in AWS solution architect, then we go deeper into all these different identity and access management concept and the role, entity type, etc. So I'm going to select AWS service, select here the on from this options EKS, and select here as EKS cluster. Basically, this role will allow access to other AWS services that are required in order to operate a cluster managed by EKS. So I will need storage, I will need some load balancers, I will need VPC, networking, etc. So all those, this role will give me EKS cluster. Click on next. Now this is where we'll select the appropriate permissions. Now I don't need to select any additional permissions. If you wanted, I should have selected here. Then click on and save this cluster name as EKS cluster role. You can have any name of your choice. Just to make sure that we are on the same page, we will say role name EKS cluster role. And this basically is saying that allow access to other AWS services that are required to operate cluster managed by EKS. Scroll down and then all you need to do is create a role. So that will create a role that I need for my EKS cluster. So it's saying creating a role EKS cluster. Wait for it to finish. And you can now look and search for EKS and you have this role that you have created just now. Go back to the screen here and then refresh here, and then from drop down this EKS role should be visible. So earlier we were not able to select anything. I created the role, refreshed it, it automatically picks up the EKS roles that are available. So I've selected here, this is one which I've created. Now encryption basically is that they turn on the envelope encryption of Kubernetes secrets using KMS. So Kubernetes has a concept of secrets. Again, if you are a part of Kubernetes certification or Kubernetes training, in that we cover secrets, which is basically your passwords, any security related stuff, your key management, etc. Or secrets, basically your password or sensitive information is stored in secrets. That secrets can be encrypted using the KMS, which is key management or encryption keys, which are managed by AWS. So we're going to leave it unselected. Tags, basically I'm not going to select any tags here. Click on next. This is where we are selecting networking. Now either by default it's creating a VPC. Again, if you're coming from AWS background, you know. If you're not from AWS background, VPC is we are creating a network, which is virtual private cloud. Is a network. That network is divided into subnets, which are smaller networks. We are creating 3 subnets or 3 smaller networks. Security group is where it's my firewall. I'm not going to worry it right now. And cluster endpoint is the master node that I do. If I want to access it, it's accessible publicly, which I will select because I want to try it out and create a machine or client machine from where I'll be able to connect to this cluster. So leave it public for now, but in actual production environment, you probably might want to keep it private, or you want to do it public private, where some part cluster endpoint is accessible outside VPC, but then worker node is always, or data plane is always within the VPC connectivity, but my master node can accessible outside as well, and some other additional configurations. We'll keep it public because I want to access this data plane or control plane, my data plane or master node from public. Also my worker nodes I want to access later. I want to show some examples where we want to access my worker nodes or my data plane as well. So we'll keep everything public. Click on next. This is where you configure logging. So Kubernetes has components like API server. So if you want to enable logging for that, or auditing, authentication, controller manager, scheduler, these are all of these are part of Kubernetes. Again, in Kubernetes architecture, we cover in these components in depth. So do you want to enable logging any of those? You select here. We can change that later as well. We'll leave it blank. Then we select add-ons. Now add-ons, as a name suggests, is that will help or facilitate your Kubernetes deployment or managed Kubernetes on AWS cloud. So you have kubeproxy, again a component of Kubernetes. Core DNS, you need a DNS service, domain name service, and then networking for VPCs. We leave it to default. Click on next. Now you can select these versions of these kubeproxy or core DNS or this VPC CNI, which is networking. We leave it to default and click on next. Then we configure the add-ons. Again, if you want to do any add-ons, you can go and add any further add-ons here if you want to add. And then all you're doing is click on create, and you're good to create this VPC. Now I'll wait for it's creating. If you see status here, it's creating. So that completes I'll pause this recording and come back probably around after 20 to 30 minutes. It should have the status as ready, and that's where I'll go and do the other part. So that will complete once it's ready, that will complete my data plane, that will complete my control plane or master node. And then I'll cover the next part. So we'll pause it and come back once it's ready to show you what you have here. Now, while we wait for this Kubernetes cluster on AWS, especially this master node to be created, I would like to invite you for approximately 2 hours free class where we take you from complete beginner, or if you're already working, to a certified Kubernetes administrator, developer, or an architect. In this free class, we'll be talking about the containers, or especially Docker architecture, images containers, and the demo deploying and running a web services containers. I'll also talk about the certification that are available in Kubernetes. So if you have not attended this free class, I would like to invite you. Go to this URL K21Academy.com/K8S02. Select the date convenient to you, enter your name and email address, and optionally a phone number, and click on yes, save my seat. Check this free class by going to K21Academy.com/K8S02. So once you have registered for this free class, let's go back to the video. If you notice, I've refreshed, I've been around, I think around 20 minutes or so. You refresh here and the status is active. That means my control plane or the master node is already here. Now it says that till this master node is done, I can't configure manage node groups. Manage node groups are nothing but actually the underlying compute or underlying CPU and memory on which my worker nodes will be deployed. And this is what we're going to look at here, compute. And I create a node group, and then node group will have an option to either do a Fargate or type, which is my Fargate profile Fargate, which is serverless, or through EC2, which is my virtual machines method. We will cover that later in part, just to give you a idea about this. So this way, we have successfully completed a master node of Kubernetes cluster. Next, in the next part, I'm going to create a machine. On that machine will act as a client. So this client will talk to my master node that we have done. Now that client can be anywhere because I've given my master node as public. It can be publicly accessible from anywhere. But because I've given it on, I want to try out and quick and easy, I'm going to do it on AWS itself. So that's what we're going to cover in the next part. With that, this is Atul. If you've come so far, take a screenshot of this and post it in our group so that I know that you're making progress, especially this screenshot on here. Take a screenshot that you have created a Kubernetes cluster, this part. So I know you're making progress. Later we are going to create a machines, other things, and we'll compute node. I'll ask you subsequent slide or screenshot there as well. This way, I know that you're making progress, and I also know that then it will inspire other members. With that, I'll see you in next part.